So we're catching up with one of the previous investors from Carnival, right, today?
Yeah, Eros. He invested in us back at Carnival when we were building out a mobile marketing platform in the early days of the App Store. And he's an investor, invested at early stage, helps with advisory for founders. So yeah, keen to have a chat to him and see how he's finding the AI boom here in the Bay Area. I'm not like an engineer by trade, but like it's great now. I'm doing solo on Geode at the moment and kind of like statistically trying to see how far I can push it as well.
Thanks so much for taking the time, coming down and have a chat with us.
Sure.
Why don't you set the scene? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Name's Eros. I invest in early stage companies here in the Valley. Background includes all sorts of things, but most recently I was CMO at Discord. But I've invested in a few New Zealand companies and spent some time out there as well. So get to travel the world in all my adventures.
You invested in Carnival like in that era when the App Store was like big and booming.
Yeah.
Like, we were building like the mobile marketing
That's right.
platform and like trying to figure out how distribution worked on mobile. You're like there for that. And now obviously here seeing this now, how does it feel different? Or
it feels the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for us old guys that have lost our hair and got a lot of gray in our beards, like, yeah, you know, it feels the same. It's just a different technology wave with a different hype cycle, you know, a different set of investors that have put their money in, but thematically it feels very similar to me. It feels like the .com wave, it feels like the smartphone wave, it just feels like another wave. It feels like a real wave versus the fake ones that we saw with crypto and with VR. You know, there's other fake waves that we've seen, like, you know, go through this amazing city that I live in. But this one, this one feels a lot more meaningful.
Yeah. And you're investing at that time and you're investing now.
Yeah.
Are you changing how you look at investments or how you pick
100%.
founders?
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't need engineers anymore. I don't need CTOs anymore.
Yeah. Do you prefer like CTOs who are AI build, like founders who are technical, who are AI build, or is it just whoever's?
I like strong structural thinkers, so maybe more of like the traditional product engineer type, but I don't like the pure engineer type.
Yeah.
I've always kind of liked the product engineer. But I actually think the harder part now is actually going to be on the go-to-market side and marketing side. I think that I don't think AI has got a good solve for that yet.
Well, it's just so saturated, right? Like the bar for doing go-to-market is much lower now. Everything's much more accessible to people, and so therefore everyone's doing it, and all the channels are just going.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to be a really good marketer now.
Yeah.
It had to be a really good marketer before. I think you have to be an exceptional marketer now.
Yeah.
So I'm more interested in founders that show some muscle there in addition to some of the product and technical muscle, not necessarily writing code, but understanding how to structure things, thoughtful product development versus just slop. And they're just tiny now. The teams are just tiny now. You know, 2-3 people can do so much now. It's crazy.
And what are you seeing them spend the money on then? Or are you funding them differently with less capital?
Oh yeah, definitely. So we operate in the early stage.
Yeah.
Right? So we tend to focus on, you know, post friends and family all the way up to pre-A. We try to stay under 30 million valuation. So by definition, these rounds are in that 1 million to 5 million tops. You know, usually circling around 2 to 3 million.
Yeah.
And I think 2 to 3 million gets you a long way these days. You know, a couple folks and some AI tokens, and you're good to go. You know, we'll see what happens when the VCs stop funding the tokens and they get to be expensive. I'll be sort of curious when that happens. But for now, it's very doable.
Are you looking for certain outcomes with the mini funds? Are you looking for the same scale of companies that VC traditionally went for, or are you kind of?
Yes, because we're part of the VC ecosystem. So in order for the model to work, we have to have big outcomes. So from that standpoint, yes. Although it will be interesting whether that matters as much in the next 5 years. Because I believe there's a good chance that you won't need later stage VC dollars anymore. which will reduce that kind of pressure on VC style outcomes. And all of a sudden, very healthy lifestyle businesses start to pop up out of these early investments. How you get liquidity out of that, I don't know. Smaller exits and consolidation will probably be the real path for a lot of these companies.
Does that just push growth investors further down the stack into early stage, or where does that money go?
I think the jury's out. I think there's going to be two camps. Camp one is, my friends over at A16Z, who will continue to write big checks and will effectively be a validation point. And their behavior doesn't change. They've always kind of been that, right? The teams didn't necessarily need the money, but they love the brand that A16Z provides when they make an investment. I think those kinds of VCs will probably continue to behave pretty similarly. Those tier 2 and tier 3 VCs cannot compete with that. And I don't think their model's going to work. I think they have too much capital to try and deploy. So I think that'll be very interesting to see how quickly they move to the earlier stage.
Interesting.
And then they'll compete with folks like us that are smaller, boutique, more specialized funds. And then we'll see if we can compete with them. But
so the middle kind of gets carved out, rather
I think the middle, I would be very surprised if the middle is necessary anymore. The big guys are just providing secondary liquidity and brand validation, and everyone's fighting for the first 1 or 2 or 3 checks.
I guess having originated in that space in the early stage, you're pretty well set to. You're going to understand founders, early stage founders, probably better than those big players trying to come early.
That's the thinking, at least. And we enjoy it too. I mean, the cool thing about the way we've always approached it is we truly love working with founders. That's what brings us joy. And we'd love have some great financial outcomes, don't get me wrong, but we like the work. It's really joyful work, and we've designed our system in a way where we're spending less time on the operational portions of the fund and the vast majority of our time working with founders. So that works for the team, and we enjoy it.
I guess if your founders can build some of those like highly leveraged AI companies, which are massively profitable and not truly venture scale, but like there's a decent financial outcome that you own a decent part of. It's not diluted along the way. And then it's still fun as well. It's like a small company still building cool stuff, but just madly profitable.
Exactly.
Probably see a few of those.
Exactly. I mean, the other piece too, of course, is the longer they stay small and scrappy, the longer we get to have a relationship with them. Right? Sort of our last 2 funds, I would say, 2-3 years in, if they're a successful company, they've kind of graduated where they've got their Series A, Series B or beyond. They've got a board. That board is now driving a lot of the decision making, driving a lot of the influence. So with our very best companies, we take an advisory seat, but many of them, we just become cheerleaders on the sideline. I think this new version of investment, that might not be the case, where they really want to maintain their relationship with their advisors for much longer than sort of last cycles.
That mean more of these opportunities will sort of end up at the end of the fund cycle, and you'll have to have a conversation about what's next, or does your fund not have an expiry?
Well, we're at the sort of tail end of Fund 2 right now. And we're in the process of getting ready to raise our 3rd fund. I mean, that'll last us a few years right there. And then who knows after that?
I guess, like your LPs are going to want some money at some point, right?
Of course. And we're lucky enough that we've returned money on Fund 1 already. And we've got a good track record going for Fund 2. Cool. I don't think you can raise with saying, hey, you may never see your money again. Of course not.
Not a good story.
Of course not. But I think the smart investors understand that the game is changing, and they have to decide whether they want to continue to place a bet in this market or not. And I think inevitably some will, and some may tap out and say, I don't believe that the VC model is going to work in the future because of ABC. And some have already, frankly, right? I mean, this last cycle, I think you saw a lot of VCs fold. Because they oversubscribed to crypto, or they oversubscribed to VR. And I guarantee you those LPs weren't doling out a lot more cash the next time around, right?
What is the full thesis of your fund?
The full thesis of our fund? So consumer focused. 3 main areas of investment. The first we call social 3.0. This is the notion that people want to gather in real life, in person going forward, and they want technology to enable that. So we've made a number of investments that are really about enabling connection with humans. Social 1.0 being Facebook, social 2.0 being something like Discord was, right? Where it was more about group communication.
Yeah.
Social 1.0 was one to many. We think the next layer is going to be about real human connection.
In real life experiences.
Yeah, real human connection. The loneliness epidemic that exists today, we think, is largely because people have lost their ability to do that. We think technology has a role to play there. We have another category, we call it consumer utility. This is the notion that we have everyday things that we got to do in our life. They're really shitty, they're really annoying.
Yep.
They waste our time, and technology has a role to play in taking those tasks off of our plate.
Yep.
You can imagine AI as an incredible accelerant to this.
What's an example of a company in your portfolio in that category?
It's a company called Kudos.
Yeah.
So Kudos has gone out and said, we think we can take your wallet that sits in your back pocket and we can automate it.
Okay.
So they've done everything from helping you make better choices around the credit cards that you purchase, to building AI agents that call your phone carrier, have a conversation with the phone carrier and reduce your bill.
That's cool.
So they believe there's this whole set of sort of financial services, decisions, pay points, and pain points associated with those pay points that they can reduce friction on. We love companies like that.
Yeah.
We love the idea that technology can not only solve problems, but give you time back for your friends, for your family, for your work, whatever it is that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
So that's a good example of the consumer utility component.
I had to never be on the phone with a customer support.
Yeah, no, I think
won't do
everybody
that.
would be happy to get rid of that, right? Who wants to be on a call with a freaking agent? And then, of course, I've got a big background in games, entertainment, so we'll continue to make investments in those categories.
Yeah, nice. And you're seeing, like you mentioned before, the go-to-market aspect being super important. Are you seeing companies doing new things there, like new channels with AI?
I think what I'm seeing with AI is an automation of the traditional marketing experimental funnel. I think they can do more variants. I think they can produce variants in a quicker pace.
Yeah.
I'm seeing them have more complexity around what they can do at the early stage.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen some teams do some new things, but I'm very curious about this next wave.
Yeah.
We were saying earlier, I'm curious about what the white space will be.
Yeah.
I think that's yet to be determined.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's still evolving.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, it's some of the areas that you're playing with.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get ChatGPT to be a marketing funnel?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah.
You know, I think people are just starting to scratch the surface on that.
Yeah.
I think it kind of, you said this before around like the creativity side of things is like standing out what humans can do.
Yeah.
Because all of the AI stuff just becomes much more table stakes. In terms of if you're not doing this, you'll fall behind. But the thing that makes you stand out is creativity.
Yeah.
Brand.
Because you're ultimately trying to talk to people at scale, right? There's
true,
still people on the other side. You still need to appeal to human emotions.
Yep.
You just do it faster, or maybe find different channels to do it through.
I mean, everybody wants word of mouth with their product, right?
Yeah.
Nobody necessarily knows how to get there.
Yeah,
And that's where I think the
difficult to
creativity
engineer.
actually happens, right?
Yeah.
How do you get people to talk about the thing that you're building?
Yeah.
Without you being around, without them seeing an ad. How do you do that?
Through a sea of AI noise.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just AI noise, it's everything noise, right? I mean, our lives are so noisy these days.
The whole AI hype thing is like, there's that psychological pressure too. Like when you're a founder, when you're in the space, you're just like, man, I've got to like keep up. I've got to be running multiple agents doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it's stressful now. It's not like AI is making a founder's job easier. It just gives you more streams to do more things. And
Yeah,
more,
I don't think a founder's job is ever going to be easy.
No.
I think a founder's job is always going to be very difficult. I think a founding team's job is always going to be very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, maybe it has actually intensified it, right? Like it's like, I can have all these agents doing all the shit all the time, and I become the bottleneck of like approval and taste and like guidance. And so you end up under constant bombardment of like things to approve and include in the product or like.
I mean, I think it's interesting. Like when you tell that story, it reminds me of the teams I've worked with or the teams I've been a part of where we overhired.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like you hired way more people than you actually needed to get the job done.
Yeah.
And in doing so, you've created noise and complexity and things that actually ended up defeating the purpose of why you hired those people.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, in this new world of AI agents, are we just effectively overhiring by creating too many agents and doing too many things because it's possible, not because you actually need it, but because it's possible, which is what happens when in the Valley when the team raises $100 million out of the gate
Yeah.
and they think the first thing they need to do is hire 100 people.
Yeah.
And when they actually need 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you lose focus.
You lose
and like-
focus, and you end up spending more time managing the problem you've created than solving the original problem you sort of hired for,
Yeah.
or you created agents for, I guess, in today's world, right?
yeah.
So I'm curious about that. I'm curious about which founders will figure that part out.
Yeah.
Sort of what is the right sized amount of agents? What is the right sized team for the
Yeah.
problem I'm solving?
Yeah. It feels like AI gets you to like the 80% of something, like a product feature or whatever you're creating with AI. It gets you the 80% super fast, like instantly. But then if you're doing 10 of those in parallel, you've got 10, 80% things.
Yeah.
But you focus on one thing, at least you can like add that 20% of polish and like the stuff that really matters on top if you keep the focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be like you need to be diligent in order to have time to do proper deep thought on something, because it's so easy to just spin off an agent to go and do
It's
something.
so
and then
true.
like,
Do
I'm gonna
something
come back to this in an
sort of
hour. And then I've got
half-assed, sort of
5 of those
slow.
going at once, and it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean-
how much is your brain really in that?
The hardest part is the last 20%.
Yeah.
It's right. I mean, you're suggesting that. Like the hardest part is the last 20%, and it takes a
Yeah.
tremendous amount of combination, creativity, nuanced thinking that I don't think today's agents have yet.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get there, but between now and then,
Change of time.
yeah, is it really helpful for you to have 50 things that are 80% done, or is
Yeah.
it better for me to have one thing that's done really well?
Yeah.
It's an interesting time, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, thanks for taking the time to chat
Yeah,
with us.
yeah, great
anyway.
to chat with you guys.
Yeah,
Enjoy the rest of your trip here in the
Thank
city.
you.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
been good. Eh?
Go get some of that Mexican Pinot I told
I
you
know.
about.
I'm real keen for that. Actually. It sounds really good.
I think we are on a solid. We literally have eaten 90% Mexican food.
The breakfast sandwich I had this morning was the only meal that didn't have some Mexican component.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna send you guys my Google map that has all of my favorite food in the city.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's a good chat with Eros. I like the part when he was talking about having multiple agents and basically being overwhelmed by that. Like when a company hires too fast and has too many employees. Like you definitely have that feeling. Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting parallel.
Yeah. And interesting hearing about the hollowing out of the middle of VC as well.
I think his perspective was good because he's obviously someone who's been around, seen a few of these waves before, and so he can kind of see the comparables from previous movements in tech.
Yeah. And like as a solo founder trying to build a high leverage business, like good to hear that that's kind of a wave he's seeing. So might see some folks, creating some companies that don't need to follow the traditional VC path.
Yeah.
Nice, should go get a burrito then.
Yeah.
Mine's a perfect cylinder. Charlie, you have to eat half of this. Is it good? Why don't they make them tiny? They make like mini, they probably do have mini burritos there. That's so good though. That's definitely the best one of the trip. What's your one, Mike? Mine's like vinegary and real good, eh? Touch little burritos. Pretty good. That one's a winner though.